And now I have put my microphone on and we are live. But I am recording this, because I was late in saying that I was going live. And I think this is very important for what we're going to actually be talking about tonight. So let me know if you can hear me, all right? Give me a thumbs up or anything like that. I acknowledge it so that I can know. Got a few on there already. Hi, Marie. Just let me know. Thumbs up. Can you hear? Make sure. Yeah, it's all working. Very good. Very good. Hiya, Martin. All right. Remember, if you're on Facebook, if you don't put your name in the software, I can't see your name. All right. So just so you know. So I'm not ignoring you if you're on Facebook. If you haven't put your name in, I can't see you. Grimlins and Death. Now, hi. How are you doing? All right, Mike. All good. Hiya, Scott. Loud and clear, but that's on Facebook user. That's all it tells me, okay? Hiya, Ben. Hiya, E-R or All right. Hiya, D. So we're going to go over a lot of stuff tonight. I had to do it slightly later. I've been on calls all day with the workmen in, fixing the roof, drilling and hammering. It was madness. Hiya, John. The workshop, which one is that? I've got two workshops that are coming up. One of them is in Kings Langley, which is near Hemel Hempstead in Hertfordshire. And the other one is in Plymouth, Hemel Hempstead or Kings Langley is on the 3rd of September. And then Plymouth is on the 17th of September. Hiya, John. And Oppo France. Hiya, Paul. So yeah, that's the two workshops that we've got coming up. But I'm going to cover a lot of stuff here tonight because it's very topical of what we're actually going through and what everyone's going through right now, with even more nonsense on how to actually destroy humanity. I think, yeah, Kings Langley, yeah, looking forward to that. Never been down that way, so we have to get some slides made up for that now. So it's a little bit early yet. I'm going to give everyone a little while to join on before we start cracking on. So I'll have a little bit of banter in the meantime. But yeah, so I've got to get some slides made up for Kings Langley because they're worried that my old-fashioned board won't be visible to everyone. Hiya, Carol. Good to see you on here. So yeah, and someone had actually said, look, I'll do some slides for you. I'm brilliant at doing the slides. I'll design the slides for you. And then I can't remember who it was. So if anybody wants to do slides and help me get them ready. Hey, Dimebar, how are you doing? Excellent to see you. Hola, man, amigo. All right, ¿qué tal? Hiya, everyone on Facebook. Remember, hiya, Lee. Remember, if you don't put your name in on the software stuff, it's what do you call it? StreamYard software. It asks you to put your name in so that you can actually get recognized, so we can have a chat with you as well. Yeah, so the workmen have been doing the roof, fixing the roof. I put like headphones on and a microphone, and it was like drilling and hammering, but we got through it all. We got it all sorted in the end. So as you can see, we're going to be talking about Martin Lewis. Is that him on the TV? Is that Martin Lewis? Marie Elliott is saying that like Martin Lewis is on a nice crack. 23 million. Oh, is that what he's worth? Is it? I don't know. Is that the guy that was like saying to not pay and they're increasing all the bills and everything like that? Hey, Barbara, how you doing? Cool. Excellent. All right, Barbara, I'll take you up on that if I can't find anyone else to do it. Someone did say, oh, look, I'll do some slides for you. And I was right. I'll get that sorted. I'll get back to you. And then obviously with like running around and working and everything like that, I didn't actually get back to him. And then I've always known I had to do it, right? Eventually, catch up with the the 21st century as it was. That's if it is the 21st century, because I don't believe any of these timelines. You know, hiya, muha. Hello. But I'm going to work out the members meeting. I think I'm probably going to do the members meeting. Dinebar's just asking when the members meeting is on. We're going to really deep dive into some stuff I've been working on. Just took me a while to get it ready. So it's going to be Sunday. I think probably 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. that is in the afternoon, that we're going to do this members meeting. It's for the PMA members, and it's really going into stuff that, you know, we can't really share just on the open platforms like this. Okay. Yes, John Joe, do one-to-one, especially for stuff like N1s and a lot of Ns as well. A lot of been discussing some stuff today, really exciting stuff going on. There's Malcolm from Yorkshire, he's in, and Lynn and Zoe. Hey Zoe, how you doing? Nice to see you on here. So yeah, I've got bits and bobs that I've got laid out there, but I'm gonna go over quite a lot tonight. I'm just gonna give it a couple of more little minutes there, let a few more people get on, and then we'll crack on. Mr. Is that Shiny or Shinny? I suppose it's Shiny, isn't it? Mr. Shiny was just a one N. Yeah, Sunday about 5 p.m. Barbara, and it'll be for the PMA members. And hiya Philip, how you doing? Philip Welsh. Yeah, brilliant there. Whoever that is, starting a private trust. I'm going to talk about a little bit about trusts tonight, but on the members meeting, the first thing we're going to go really deep. There's a few different things we've been going. Let's make it better. Let's make it harder on the people we're going against. So Philip from Suffolk, lovely. But we're going to go over the PMAs for sure, on how to establish a PMA, how to create a PMA, how to live in a PMA. Now, I'm not just talking about, yes, I talk about it. Yes, I say things about it and explain about it, but we're actually going to show you how to set it up. This is obviously for the members, and we're going to break it down, and also how to break down and talk to the different people how to be in the private as well. Okay. You work until midnight, Scott. Are you in the UK or but we're going to go even deeper into private trusts, but also into commercial liens. You know, I was talking to someone today, and you know, who are like doing the paperwork for the PMA that I was like obviously not copying, but editing the paperwork that we've got for the not PMA, the commercial lien, right? And you know, working in Manchester till midnight. Did you go to the Manchester event? Did you, Scott? But yeah, but on the commercial lien, right, the people that I was talking to today, and they're doing this, you know, I'm not going to say anything about their cases or anything like that, right? But, you know, they were talking to these, I'll tell you in a minute, Julie. They were talking to these people like working in banking, high up banking, all right? And they were saying, right, just how really scary and powerful these commercial liens are when you're doing it in the correct way. Okay. So we're going to go deep dive and like break it down even further than what I've got the paperwork. I just think we need to, like, you know, all right, you got the paperwork, but sometimes when you read the paperwork, oh, I'm going to do a commercial lien. And what I don't like is I've seen a few people in the past, let's just say in the past, all right, and they say, oh, I've done a lien on him, I've done a lien on him, I've done a lien on this one. And they're not really doing a lien, all right? You're not really. That, you know, if they don't do the commercial lien, and I mean, it is, you know, we pronounce it lien. Some people say lien, it's L-I-E-N, but it is commercial lien. You can actually get it on the land registry against who you're doing it to if you do it properly. Okay. So if you're doing it properly, you know, then you can actually get that a commercial lien done correctly. And they're all saying, oh, how do you monetize it? How do you sell it? Well, why do that when you can actually put it on the property? You can put a commercial lien on the land registry against either a company's property or people's property, and they'll never get rid of it until they sell. And then what happens, right? If, just in case you don't know, when if you've dealt in mortgages, right, the when they sell, the ones on the charge, it's called first in time, first in line. So when you got a charge on there, they have to be paid before the one that's selling it gets paid. Does that sound good? You know, so you just need to learn how to actually do that. So I'm going to go, I know I've got the paperwork in the PMA. I know I've got the videos in the PMA. I'm going to do more videos and break it down so it's even clearer. All right. But it's kind of stuff that, you know, I mean, this stuff, without sounding rude, you know, like, you know, I spent fortunes on paying for courses, investigating and getting to the actual level that I needed to be. So, you know, I'm not just going to run. I give so much away, like on all of these calls and everything like that. And I get such a slacking off by other people who are trying to sell all these little bits, right? That, you know, but some things just like, you know, you just can't just give everything away. And N1, by the way, Julie, there's different types of claims you can put through courts. Now, there's different ways of doing claims. Okay, some people might call it a complaint and a claim, the difference. But anyway, an N1 is when you're putting in a financial claim against, and I think it's limited, but I mean like limited amount of money against either a man or a woman or a company. You can do either. That's what an N1 is. You're putting a claim in at the court. Then there's an N208, Part 8, I think it is. But and there's a few different others as well. And how to do, you can protect your own property with these other forms as well, which are not like N1 forms, but not court forms N1, but they're land registry forms, like the XR1, which sounds like a car. You want to drive a fast car, but you know, there's a lot of stuff that we can do when you're going in the public as well as in the private. So we can work with both types of forms if we know what we're doing. Hello, Sue Brewis at Whitley Bay. At Whitley Bay, really? Not far then, not far. I'll throw stones at you out my window. All right. Worry, are you going to watch the replay? No problem. You watch the replay. Excellent. But we've got a little bit to talk about tonight. Like I say, it's going to be members only on the Sunday. I reckon 5 p.m. I'm going to write that down as well so I don't forget. 5 p.m. I was thinking what time to do it. I'll do 5 p.m. PMA. There, made a note so I don't forget. I'll get it all set up. Okay, and we're going to do a series. I think trying to think if I can do it when I'm doing it on the these will be like quite in depth, so I'll probably do it every 2 weeks and do like this, and I'm not putting a time limit on it, you know, like so I'm only going to do it an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. We'll do what we'll have to do on the PMA ones. Okay, but we're going to do it Sunday 5 o'clock. There's a date. Yay! See, all we're going on a date night. Okay. All right then. Yes, that's correct, John Joe. We are all intelligent. All right, but just like we haven't got the education on the correct way. You know, again, talking to these people today, and they're like involved and got like links into this banking world, which some people working for the City of London, the Crown Corporation, the city, and they're just saying this is like, you know, like the Bills of Exchange Act. That's what they get taught when they're little kids, you know. So when, you know, well, nowadays, right, when I was a kid, you would have been playing out on your bike. They're getting taught the Bills of Exchange Act, how to do a correct promissory note. We're all still struggling how to get promissory notes actually accepted. They get taught it as kids, you know, and how banking actually really works, and how the financial world really works, where it's all about, like, you know, try and basically, you know, strip all the poor of everything and keep everything for yourself. And also why is they use the trust, the private trusts, as in own nothing, control everything. This is what the wealthy teach their children when we're getting, knocked off our bikes and playing with Lego and stuff like that. This is just facts. This is the facts of life. All right. Okay. So just we'll give a couple of questions. What time is it now? 1:15 nearly. So we'll crack on. So Philip, anyway, he's saying once you've created a private trust, you have to place it somewhere other than in a local paper. No, Okay. Oh, hang on a second. I haven't put my battery in. Hang on. Plug my computer in. That would be terrible, wouldn't it? Switch off halfway through. I don't think that will be too popular. All right. But no, you don't. You can put it. We actually do it and expressed in the paper. You can do it as well through the SOI, statement of interest. Yeah, definitely need to help people as well as making money. Well, not make money. We want to eat, but I mean, everyone deserves like their sweat equity bartered with. But anyway, going back, you can put an SOI, for instance, if you had a local library or a courthouse that would allow you. Not very much of that doing that in the UK, but in the US you can, and you can put the SOI, statement of interest, which is all in my trust paperwork. If you read it, you'll know it and understand what I'm saying, or comprehend, I should say, what I'm saying. But you don't need to do it anywhere else, but you can. But you remember, you're using the Royal Mail and sending it to yourself with the Royal Mail, with the Royal Mail tracking numbers. All right, but we'll go over that in a bit, okay? Because we've got a lot to cover. All right, so on here, look, just want to show you, right, we're talking about the utilities. All right, now I'm not Martin Lewis. I'm far too handsome to be anybody like Martin Lewis. All right, and I certainly don't make anywhere near that kind of money. But look at this here, okay? You've got British Gas, all right? Between January and June this year, they've made 1.3 billion pounds, okay? Shell, all right, 9.4 billion in a year. 1 year, 9.4 billion. It's just insane, isn't it? All right, BP, 6.95 billion, okay, between April and June. Between April and June. Get your head around that. All right. In October, apparently, allegedly, we're going to see an increase in our bills of 75%. And this is the profits that they are making. Now, if you look now, right, there's some really good guys in these union movements that are actually pushing and showing people that this is not about a cost of living crisis. It's not. It's a completely manufactured crisis by hammering the poor and increasing the wealth of the wealthy. All right, it's about control, right? Desperation, keeping the spirits low, so you increase the loosh, because these people, right? They are not man and woman. They are not the same as us. They're either a different species or from a different planet, or maybe even lizards, along with Elizabeth. Okay. But they're not the same. So they're happy to make everyone else misery so they can feed off the loosh. This money just means nothing to them as long as we're all kept poor and kept as peasants. All right? Okay. All right. Yeah, the entire financial system is all fake anyway. None of it exists. All right? There's no such thing as money. And it's like, I've just started, by the way. I've been on TikTok for a long time, but never done anything with it, just too busy with doing things. I thought, oh, well, I can do a 2-minute video, 3-minute video. All right. So the you get a lot more abuse, I think, on TikTok than you do. Probably a lot more keyboard warriors on TikTok than anywhere else. But the whole, I'm just saying, on TikTok though, the whole thing is fake. It doesn't exist. This money is not real. It's a system of currency, fiat currency. right? So you've got to remember, what is a current? A current is filled in by the banks of a river that funnel the current to the sea, current sea. All right, and it's all admiralty, it's all law of water, law of the sea, which is what we're all talking about, which is why we have, you know, apprenticeships, you know, and memberships, you know, you know what I mean? It's just like it's the insanity of it, and why we're always keeping our head above water or drowning in debt and freezing our assets. You know, it's that's like gremlins. Yeah, the thing is, right, there's like, this is all part of the plan, right? So you have these people, I was just saying, it's like, you know, the WEF in the United Nations. But the WEF and that Klaus Schwabby Bobby lobby, right? They just tell you what they're told to tell you by the Club of Rome. And the Club of Rome are telling you what they were told to tell you by the Committee of 300. And the Committee of 300 are telling them what to tell you, to tell the WEF to tell the peasants, all right, by the 13 families and so on. And probably above them is probably something that comes from a different plane at, okay, you know, well, you know, currency is 100%, it's all about stealing sweat equity, but this is the profits that these people are making, okay, all right. So let's go on to some of the people, right, that actually are working and represented in these industries, you know, allegedly. So we're not getting this is just apparently, allegedly, all right, the boss of the National Grid. We all know what that is, the National Grid. £6.5 million bonus. This is a bonus, you know, right? So he's got a salary anyway, and then he gets a bonus of 6.5 million. Centrica, and they own British Gas. He got £2 million last year. Scottish Power boss, right? 1.5 million. He's poor. Okay. Eon, I hate Eon. I'm in the middle of a battle with Eon now, right? Which I've actually just been referenced now when I was getting the DSAW, and now it's been sent to the Royal Courts of Justice. My DSAW has been sent to the Royal Courts of Justice in Petty France in London, all right, where the Attorney General is. So Eon, I'm fighting them at the minute, and that's what's happened to them, hiding away from the court because they did a fake warrant. So I'm trying to actually smash them. I don't want to try and sue the company. I'm trying to get the name so I can claim against the man and against the woman. Well, I don't think it is any woman, but against the man who did something. Because you've got to remember, Eon has never done anything. Okay, Scottish Power has never done anything. But a man or a woman who sometimes acts as an agent for them, they do something. So you attack the man or the woman that did something when they were acting as an agent, not the company, okay? But we'll go on to about that later. EDF, I've never dealt with them, but I've read about them and I've seen videos of them. They are filth. They are filth. Eon and EDF, right? Both of them, okay? Absolute filth. The boss of them made $1 million as well. Just as poor as the Eon boss. Nowhere as much as these ones, all right? Anglian Water, 1.3 million pay package, everything together, you know, so that'll be all the allowances as well, 1.3, you know. This is what they're getting when they're increasing that margin to actually boost up the bills, okay? It's the same as what it was when they shut us down for COVID, okay? When they were shutting all the businesses down and they weren't allowed to make money, and they crippled all the small and medium businesses. And a lot of businesses, I was involved in the martial arts, I've voluntarily closed to move on. But I know personally a lot of martial arts gyms that have shut down and never ever will be able to open, you know. So, hiya, what's that say? Imaima, how you doing? Okay, good to see you on here. Yeah, bonuses, Dime Bar. It's insanity. It's insanity. But see, this is what I'm saying, right? I'm going to tell you this, but that don't pay UK. This thing, it's going mad. It's going everywhere. Don't pay UK. I think you should stay away from that. Okay, I think that is a big no-no. Maria mentioned that Martin Lewis, I think was his name, he's on millions of pounds a year as well on the television. I don't watch television, but I've seen the clips on YouTube. All right, and I don't watch television, by the way. I just, when they were up fixing the roof, I said, that aerial's been up there for years. Can you take it down? So I've got rid of the aerial and it's all gone. So I got rid of all that. So then I've never had any TV goons come around, but like next time I say, well, where's the effing aerial then? You know? Yeah. Liability, right? Well, yeah. But the thing is, when they do anything whatsoever, I'll go into that later anyway. Dime ball, we can actually have them no matter what they do. Okay. Yeah, he's a Mason. Martin Lewis a Mason. So anyway, the things what I'm saying is what you should do. Not follow this, like don't pay UK. Don't do that. But you should cancel your direct debit. But when you're cancelling your direct debit, what you should do first, or at exactly the same time, is place a complaint and raise a complaint and put it into the actual company. So you have a live complaint with them. If you have a live complaint with them, they cannot apply for any warrants, apply for any nonsense or anything like that. Okay. Now we'll go over it. Okay. Now the thing is, all right, on section 8B 1986 of the Gas Act. Now it is the Gas Act, but fair enough, but it's exactly the same, all right, for both of them, right? They cannot apply for a warrant of entry if it's in dispute. So we are going to make it in dispute and we're going to keep it in dispute. So once we've made the complaint, we maintain the dispute. If we maintain the dispute, they cannot apply for any of these fake warrants. I'll explain about the fake warrants in a little while. All right, so forget this don't pay UK, just cancel the direct debits. Do you know what? That's government run. They're collecting your data. They're harvesting your data so they know everybody who they're going to attack that's trying to stick up for themselves. All right. So how do you actually make the complaint? You're going to have to write to both of them, write to the gas, electric, write to the water as well, write to them all. Okay, and you make an official complaint. You've got to go in, you've got to put it, register it on the website, register it, write to them and register it on the website. Make as much noise as you can about getting it put up there as an official dispute. It has to be an ongoing dispute, and then they can't do anything. All right, this is how you hold them to account and you stranglehold them. All right, so when it is an official complaint and it is in dispute, all right, now you can tell them, look, it's too much to pay. It's unfair. What you're doing and you're charging this much when you're making that profits, that is disgusting. You can tell them that. You say that. Your profits are ridiculous. It's disgusting. You're an absolute filthy thief and we are not going to pay. We cannot afford to pay. We are disputing that this is what it costs. Your charges are ridiculous compared to what your actual costs are. The costs are nothing. All right, so you tell them that and you make sure. So it's completely unfair. All right, make this stick properly like that. All right, so whatever they'll do then, they'll start making you offers. They'll always make you offers to try and make the dispute away. You've got to be very careful. Does it tell you on there? Yeah, you've got to watch out. Now, I was doing some chatting with some people yesterday, and they actually deposited some money into this guy's bank account. Didn't tell him, right? Deposited, I think it was £50, deposited it and said, well, sorry for the complaint. Here's £50. The complaint is closed, right? So you've got to return it, get it in there and transfer it back. You don't accept that money, not at all. So you tell them, no, I don't want that money. You keep the complaint live and you send the money back. Do not accept the money. Do not accept any offers from them whatsoever. Okay, once you've made the complaint and you've stated it there, it's a live complaint, it's a proper dispute. Keep an eye on your bank account. If they do send you anything, return it straight away as soon as you can. All right, and never ever accept any of the offers, no matter what they're telling you. Unless they tell you, I'll give you free gas for life. Okay, all right. 100%. And if you've got any smart meters, you've got to get rid of any smart meters anyway. You shouldn't have them because they're going to kill you anyway because they're full of bloody EMF and going to give you cancer. But, right, they're just flying the bills through the sky anyway. Get rid of smart meters. The only thing in your house that should be smart is you. You're in your house. You're smart. Be a smart man, a smart woman, right? You don't want smart meters. You don't want smart anything else. Okay? And make sure your phones are switched off. And then switch off everything at night time, by the way. So if you do have an internet connection, you've got your, what's it called, a router and all that, switch all your plugs off at night time. Everything should be unplugged, switched off, pull out the plugs, right? Like everything. You shouldn't have a light on your cooker telling you everything should be switched off. Okay? It's not just about saving money. It's about getting rid of the EMF and getting rid of the connection. Everything that is harvesting your energy through all of these machines. Right, I've got a complete tin hat on now. I know that, right? And I sound like, you know, like him off like that. I can't remember the name of the program. But wears a tin hat and he's scared of electric gadgets. But they're draining off you for everything. Okay. So what happens is, right, if you refuse all of the offers, it's going to go to deadlock. All right. So when it goes to deadlock and you won't accept any offer and they keep doing it, saying, no, I'm complaining, everything's unfair. How could they ever argue anyway? It's going to go into deadlock. All right. So when it goes into the deadlock, it's going to have to go to the Ombudsman. When you're going for the Ombudsman, it's like, what's it called again? When you go in, it's like mediation. They've got to get mediation. Okay. But it costs them £500. £500 for mediation. So just think about that. There's 100 people on this call now. There'll be like literally 2,000 by the end of next week. Right, if all of those 2,000 took £500, look at that. All right, do you know what I mean? There's like £100,000. Right, they're not going to want to do that because this is all about taking it away from them. Now we understand that this financial system is not real and everything like that, but it's the only way we can fight them. It's the only way we attack them. All right, so you get it into deadlock, you accept nothing, and then it's going into, right, we're going to go to the, right, get onto the Ombudsman. When you go to the Ombudsman, it doesn't mean that you have to accept what they say. It just means you have to get them in. Now, they don't want to go there because they're going to have to pay £500 every time, right? So all of us need to do that, right? Everyone, pass it on to your friends, pass it on to your family. Everybody do that, okay? Doesn't matter if they're part of the part of the system. We know the part of the system. All right. That's not the point. The point is get them into this position and you're not paying. Right? You are not paying. The only thing I can say is if like you're on a prepayment meter, is that you have to get it changed to a normal meter. All right. That's just the way it is. There's nothing I can do about it. Right? You have to get onto a normal meter, not be on a prepayment meter. Okay. All right. Now, also, because of everything that's going on, you have to watch out for these fake warrants. You see, everybody gets excited, if you want to call it that, about like the council tax, and the council tax do fake warrants and fake liability orders and fake this. But so do these companies, right? These are even worse, right? They probably taught the councils how to do it, man. You know, look. I'm right in the middle of this case now, which is why I'm dealing with the Royal Courts of Justice now for a fake warrant. And it was by Eon. So, you know, and I'm just forcing this through now, right? What they'll do is, right, they'll hire the office in the magistrate's court. And when they go into the magistrate's court, all they'll do is they'll actually just like sign off all these warrants. So we had them turn up here. There was like 3 police vans, 6 coppers, these clowns in costumes, bloody dog handlers saying they were going to take my dogs away. I had 3 bailiffs, right? And a locksmith. A locksmith. You know, I tell you what, it's lucky. Anyway, a lot of bad stuff could have happened. But it was a completely fake warrant. I even phoned up the court. Hello, Birmingham. It is Eon. Right, back on the other page, Eon used Birmingham Magistrates Court. Not even in the right jurisdiction. You can't have jurisdiction in Northumberland. I'm nearly in Scotland right? When you're in Birmingham getting a magistrate's warrant, and it's a magistrate's warrant, magistrates, right, is for criminal court cases, not for debt. County court is civil, debt. Magistrate is criminal. And I mean, you know, it's a criminal offence. I know it's just like acts and statutes, but that's what they call it, a criminal offence. That's what the magistrates' courts deal with. Whereas, right, if it's debts or stuff like that, not paid bills, then it has to be county court for debt. That's the way it is. So they hire the office, try to scare you. And the clowns in costumes, I don't want to go on too much about them, right? But they all stick up for them. Then I said, oh, no. And I said, look, you know, it's a fake warrant, blah, blah, blah. And I even rang up again, listen to the court. And they went, oh, it's got the wrong number. And they gave me Eon's number. And I was like, oh, so you want me to ring the electric company to ask the electric company if they have a warrant, right? So now electric companies can create warrants then, yes? And the copper, right, clown in costume, we went, yeah, they can. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? So watch out for them, right? Watch out for these fake warrants. These magistrates' court, they're for criminal cases, not debt cases. Civil law, civil cases, debt. Can't do it, right? So what you have to do, this is good, remove the implied rights of access. And no matter what this is, right, this was endorsed. Yes, this is definitely the law by Lord Justice Donaldson. And the case, make sure you know this case, Lambert v. Roberts, 1981. Okay? I mean, to me, that's very modern. You know, everyone else is like, oh, it's years ago. No, it's very modern. All right? And another one, okay, and you can actually do this orally. And that is another case law, Davis versus Lyle, 1936. So why I'm showing you the case law, right, is because you can use their laws. They're not laws, they're acts and statutes, but this is what you would call common law. Common law is case law, which is the decisions made by judges with all the lower courts must follow. They're not allowed to argue, right? So if you've got a little magistrate's court, if you did have that, they have to follow this because this is common law, case law, decided in the high courts by the lords. All right, that's why they're called Lord Justice Donaldson, right? It's not Mickey, right, who's the plumber who acts as a magistrate during the week. It is I don't think lords are anything at all, by the way, or the queens or any of that bollocks, right? We're all equal under the law. We're all made by the Creator. We're all equal under the Creator. But some people get given a title called Lord Justice because they're a high judge. So the Lord Justice Donaldson, we may as well use him, all right? And he said you can remove, and once you've removed the rights of access, they can't come in. So we had the clowns of costumes come up, and I said, look, here's the note. I've already removed their implied rights of access. And he's there, he's only like this. He's what? You can't do that. That's stupid. I went, oh, so you're a higher rank than Lord Justice Donaldson then? Is that what you're saying? He went, oh, and waddled off that way, you know. This is a fact, and make sure you have this written out when you're ever dealing with this, because you know hopefully it's not going to happen. But I'm going to tell you some bad stories soon. This is why you need to be doing what I'm telling you. Why you need to get it into this complaint so it can go to the Ombudsman. All right, now everyone can do what they want. Someone's just said they've removed the meters. I'm not telling anyone what to do. Right, everyone makes their decisions. And everyone does what they want to do and has to do, and it's their own decision. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you what not to do. I'm just telling you what happens and what can happen. All right? So that we can all help each other. That's all I'm trying to do. Help each other. All right? So we're not talking about, this is what we're talking about. Okay? This is our subject at the minute. So when we're talking about, and if people do turn up with these fake warrants and they're saying that, and when we had them, it was insanity. But remember, some of these are brilliant. All right, some of these are brilliant. So bailiffs, when they're turning up, they cannot force entry, even with a warrant. A warrant is an offer. So are you going to accept the offer or not? Okay, right. So a bailiff cannot force entry. So this is case law. And this is Groves versus Eastern Gas. All right? Groves versus Eastern Gas, 1952. That's case law. So we're talking about like the, so if they're turning up to force entry in to do a gas meter, they can't do it. Okay. Now, the thing is, you have to decide what you want to do. Do you want to fight them and stand, right? Or do you want to just, let them get away with it? So yes, you might have to allow them to do stuff, but then you go against them after. Okay. All right. So if someone turns around and says, right, like that clown in a costume, oh, that's stupid. And I was just like, what? But I know the case law, so I've got it written out. So there's Lord Donaldson. Lord Donaldson says that we can remove the implied rights of access, even orally, and these are the case laws. So here's the case law, Mr. Clown in a costume, sitting there with, what's your name? No, 45321. No, your name's not 45321 fucking one, right? That is a number on there. It doesn't even match your warrant call, by the way, right? So give them this and make sure you stick with that and push it that way, right? You have to do it in a certain way, and you've got to do it very calmly, right? That, which is not my forte, unfortunately. I get a little bit carried away, right? But bailiffs cannot force entry. So if bailiffs are forcing entry, you can force back. You can use the same amount of force. I don't think I've included it in this one, but you can use the same amount of force that they're using against you. Right now, you can actually do a little bit more than that, and I'll explain later. But definitely by proven case law, again, this is what they'll call common law because it's done by a judge in a high court. All the courts have to follow. They can't argue. Okay. So if they're turning up at your door, right, bailiffs cannot apply force to a door, and that's their Broughton. Sorry, my rating's terrible. Broughton versus Wilkerson, that's Wilkerson, 1880. Research some of this. Put this into a search engine so you can print it off. And I have been working on a book that you can literally get a hold of and just like flick it through and pull bits of paper out, right? So you can actually hand out to them. I've just been madly busy, so I haven't finished it yet. All right, but make sure get this all done, right? So you can research this and print it out. But I am going to get there in the end. I will get that book done for you. All right. And here, your home is protected against forced entry. Again, against forced entry. And that is case law. Monroe versus Monroe. Monroe and Monroe versus the Wood Spring District Council. Bloody council. All right. And that was in 1979. They can't force entry into your home. They'll try, and the coppers will be there, the clowns in costumes. They'll say, of course he can. Of course he can do that. And they know that, right? So listen, right? There was like a case this year, a few months ago. I've got to get him on here in an interview, right? But it was Robert White's case. Now, the police went and smashed his door in, right? And because he tried to resist, they shot him, right, with a taser twice, okay? And then beat him up as well. He was covered in blood. And then they charged him with a fray because of such lovely police. All right. But when it went to court, I mean, the judge actually ripped the police apart. Right. And he'd said there, once you've stepped out of your oath of office, once a policeman has stepped out of their oath of office, they are nothing but an intruder. And as an intruder, you as the householder can do anything in your means to protect yourself and your home. All right. That's what he said. Similar to that, right? You can research it, get the actual 100% wording, but I'm paraphrasing, right? But it was something along those lines. And, right, these people, once they've stepped, now I'll tell you how they step out of oath, but they step out of oath by many, many things. So your home is protected against forced entry. So this copper forced entry into Robert's house, Bob's house, right? But he actually put they smashed the panel. He put the panel back in, so they'd smashed it out again and shot him with a taser. All right. But anyway, and it's still ongoing. I think that case is finished, but he's got other things going on. Okay. So the actual judge said it was an intruder. An intruder is a trespasser. Okay. I don't like that word, but well, I'll explain that later. So this is all case law. If you strike, boom, a trespasser, right, who has refused to leave, it's not an offence. And I think I've actually forgot to write the actual date on that one. But that is case law. There's case law. So on there, now my favourite is this one. This is my favourite one. This is hilarious. Well, it's not hilarious, it's true. If you strike the bailiff over the head with a full bottle of milk, I don't know why it has to be full, right? I could maybe try an empty one, but maybe it's an offence if it's empty. So make sure you fill it up first, and it's not a plastic one, right? It's not an offence. And that is case law. Vaughan versus Mackenzie, 1969. See, the thing is, and when you read these, and it's like, right, it's not the 2000s, it's not the 2020. Because these people were used to fighting for their rights. They were used to standing up against the scum for their rights. Now, what happens now is that we're being fed so much weakness, right? So now everybody wants to go and identify as a fucking dandelion, that we're not standing there as a man and woman and actually standing up and fighting for our rights and telling people what this is right. This is right. This is my home. I defend my home. Right? So now that you want to go off and you want to be a pink fairy in the back of Beyond or something like that, and I identify as a cushion, right? That's why we're not doing these things and we're not standing. And we've allowed these clowns in costumes walk around there. Now they've got the bloody, they think they're hard because they've got a big, massive, big weapon stick there and then a taser they can shoot you with, right? And now they're just being mega bullies, right? They're not police constables, they're police officers, policy enforcement officers, making money for the corporation. And you're scum, right? And we've forgotten all this, and we're not standing on this, and we used to all stand on this now. So we've got to get it back, and we've got to educate more people. So when you're learning this and listening to this and doing this, then go and tell your neighbour, go and tell someone else. I know it's hard when, right, all a little bit soft, right? But, you know, it is what it is. So we've got to, if they are, right, identifying as a dandelion, right? Dandelions are fantastic, by the way, right? But like, you just got to ignore them and get on with it. But okay, we've got to get back to going onto this, right? If you strike a trespasser, so that trespasser is the clown in a costume, right? That wouldn't actually identify themselves, by the way. So they have stepped out of their oath of office. So they are now just an intruder or a trespasser, right? You ask them to leave and they refuse, you can hit them. And it tells you it's no offence. And that is case law, Davis versus Lyle, 1936. Okay? Because these people were standing on the rights. These people were actually standing up there and actually telling them. Okay? So when you've got a clown in a costume, and they'll walk up and they've got the yellow suit. They put their hands, a lot of, you know, put their thumbs, they're like, you know, the Diddy men, all right? So, or the Lollipop gang from Wizard of Oz, because it all comes from Wizard of Oz. You know that, don't you? When they step out of their oath of office you say, well, excuse me, can I see your warrant card, please? Right? And they're going, that's what they talk like, saying, well, you know, look, under the Police and Criminal Evidence Act, 1984, if you were in plain clothes, then you would have to have your warrant card on a lanyard and be able to show it. If you were in a uniform, don't tell them it's a clown in costume. If you're in uniform, then you have to carry your warrant card, which you must show to the members of the public for ID purposes. This is your regulations, your acts and statutes under the Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984. It's not for me, it's for you. Now, if they refuse, 3 times they've stepped out of their office. They are not in their oath of office. Okay? So they are an intruder, a stranger, a trespasser, and you have to defend yourself under the Castle Doctrine as you see fit. And make sure you record it all, by the way. Get your phone, get your cameras, record everything. So if these clowns in costumes are coming up and they are not identifying them, and I would tell them, so, well, look, I'll tell you what it is. There's that under the Police and Criminal Evidence Act, 1984, you have to identify yourself with photographic ID. right? Pointing to a number means nothing. It's not even your warrant number. It won't match the warrant card. Not always anyway. So you want to see that and say, well, look, why is it you're scared of giving your name? Is it because you're friendly with the guy who raped and murdered Sarah Everard, the policeman down in London? Is that what it is? Is that what the problem is? So if there isn't a problem, then you just need to identify yourself. If you don't identify yourself under the Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1984, then you're a stranger, you're an intruder, you're a trespasser, and I will defend myself and my property under the Castle Doctrine as I see fit. Okay? And that does include lethal force. All right? And that is exactly right. The truth is sovereign, just said that, and it's 100% correct. So I'm not saying anything or what anyone has to do, but just know that's not even the law. That is acts and statutes. The law says the Castle Doctrine, we have to defend ourselves in our home from life and limb, blah, blah, blah. Right? But that's theirs as well. That is theirs. So I ended up there. I've come to the end of the actual slides. But see, what I was wanting to talk about is like how we can actually move from being what we are and going into the private, so we can help against going onto these. And we definitely have to record every encounter. So I'm going to go over some, what would I call it? Steps of moving into the private. All right, and how we actually handle a private, and also about how we should be talking about it, like how you work in it, and how to not pay tax. Who would like to not pay tax? Yes, Emma, you have to learn loads, but it's hard, but you just got to do little bits. Okay, one step at a time. Just get those little bits going. Okay. Okay, so I'll just put that up there. All right, so Mr. Shiny says record every encounter. Make sure you do record, okay, every encounter, so that you can prove everything that's going on. So unfortunately, when I got my latest incident, I don't know what happened there. Latest incident, I was wearing my body cam, and it's like it got a very physical event. Let's just say I got a physical event. So I lost my camera. It went flying into the next door neighbor's garden while I dealt with the problem. Let's just say that. Okay. But yeah. So Emma, she says so much to learn. But all you got to do is just got to do a little bit at a time. Okay. And we do it that way. All right. So what we need to do, everybody, I think it's getting worse where people are just giving away their privacy. Okay. All right. And we need, to try and get hold of our privacy more. Now then, that's a 50-50 thing there. Dime bar, I'm going to show that. All right. There's no right to privacy in a public place. Yes and no. Okay. All right. I'm gonna. Which I'll do that. I'll do that now. So look, let's just talk about being on the road. Now, I'm not gonna get into confrontations, arguments, or anything. Oh my God! Look what I've done. Oh, how did I do this last time? I didn't even. Did I turn the page? Did I turn the page to do that? I must have done it. So let me see if I can. You can still hear me. I know. Stay focused. All right. So I don't know what to do now. Why did every time that I flick the paper, it was happening? It's because I'm too handsome. That's what it is. Too handsome. Get the focus. Get the focus. There we go. Ta-da! I'm not going to turn any more pages. I'm going to turn any more pages. All right, let's talk about being in the private and being in the public. Yes, when you're in public, you've got to be careful, okay? Because what we're on about being in the private, okay? It's not just about bailiffs and everything like that. You need to get into the private. But if you're on a road, right, a road is a sea lane. We're on shipping lanes. What they did is they actually bought the shipping lanes, and why you got canals and why you got rivers, and they bought it all in to do the roads. Okay, that is why you have lanes. When you're in your car, right, you got to stay in lane. Why would you stay in lane? You're going to stay in lane because you're in the shipping lanes. Okay, that's why they tell you, right, that you've got an island in the middle of the lane. Okay, all right, so you've got your island. So this is in the public. Now, right, I'm not going to argue with anyone. Everybody can do what they want. If you want to go and you think you can travel, okay, versus drive. So when you're traveling, you have the right to travel unhindered, okay, going throughout your daily life, going from A to B, and you're traveling because driving is commercial. Driving is being in commerce. However, it can be looked upon as a different way, because I tell you what it is now. If you're driving, do you have a license? I would say yes, you have a license. So if you have a license, then you've already accepted that you're a driver, and you've accepted the contract. So you've moved into the public, but you can still be a private man. So when they were saying they were traveling, when these acts and statutes were written, when they were traveling, yeah, they were traveling, and they were on a horse or a donkey. Okay, but now that they're actually on a car or a vehicle or a motorbike, right, or whatever it is, a van, whatever you want to call it, and it's like it weighs nearly a ton of steel, and it's traveling along a road, right, that's going to actually maybe collide into something else, then that's a different matter. You've got to be a little bit more clever and sensible about it. So these now, by the way, I've took the version of traveling. There was no tax, no insurance, no license, no MOT, and all of that. All right. Only I made sure it was a safe car. Obviously, I drive very safely. All right. Or I traveled very safely at the time. But when you're going into the public, you truly are in the public. You're in a public realm. So it's like when people complain about the privacy on a plane. If you go onto an aeroplane, you're flying in it, it's a public aeroplane owned by someone else. It's not you. It's public. So when you go onto a public road, it's definitely in the public. You are in the public realm. It is not a private realm. Okay. So driving is commercial. Driving is for employment. However, all right, if you want to partake in these public services, then my view is, right, for instance, I'm going to go into the public and I'm going to drive. So, all right, I'm going to accept your rules because I'm in the public. So I have a license. I've got one now. I've got one not long ago. So I'm driving, okay, a vehicle in the public. However, if I get stopped for everything, as soon as they stop me, right, and they ask for anything out of the ordinary, i.e., can I see your license? Everything else is now a man. I'm a private man, and I will be in the private. Now, if they ask me to do anything silly, then they're going to have to pay for it, and they're going to have to. If they make orders, then I am going to charge them for the orders that they actually ask for. Okay. So this is the difference. right? So when I'm going there, I've got insurance, by the way. I do have it now, which luckily enough, because when I went to Birmingham, which is 3 months ago, the 1st of May, apparently somebody tried to steal my car. My car did get smashed to pieces. It must have been the worst car thief in the world to do that much damage to a car that it would have never been able to sell it once they'd stolen it. They wrecked it. And I just got it back this week, 3 months, over 3 months. And I just got it back, but it was all paid for. £6,000 odd paid for, right? So through the insurance. So think about it carefully. But, you know, so I was actually driving because I was in the public, but I can still be a private man once they stop me and they ask for anything out of the ordinary. Okay. So you can act private when they stop you and try to be a little bit funny about things. This is the whole difference. But remember, in the public and there, so if you go onto a plane, so we're talking about claims, you see. So if anyone does anything wrong against you, right, and they're going to do a wrong, okay, against you, you're going to, that is if you are a man or a woman, right? Okay, I'm not being, okay. So if you're working on your everyday life and they do a wrong against you, and you're going in as a man or a woman, then we can actually notice them, do a notice against them, okay, working in the private. So we want to turn everything to being in the private. So what we need to do, we need to move away from being in the public realm to being in the private realm. Now, there's many ways to do this. Some people say you should do it. Some people say you shouldn't do it. Some people could call it one thing or another thing. What we do is we do what we call an LND, or a lawful notice and demand. Okay? On a lawful notice and demand, what we're doing is we're actually telling them, right, that on the Set of KV, the Set of KV Act, and that's 1666, which is still alive on the government website, it states that we're all dead. So on the L&D, what we're doing is we're telling them that we are alive. And not only that we are alive, but we are living in the private as man or woman. Right? It's got the colon on because that makes it a fact. A fact I'm a man, a fact that I'm a woman. I'm not like identifying as a Hungarian shellfish. Okay? Right? So that's how we're going to declare ourselves being there, because we use the L&D to actually counteract or rebut the Set KV Act 1666. Because what they do is they actually use what they call here, I'm doing it in capitals so I can show this dog Latin. Okay, I shouldn't do that, but I'm just being silly. Tacit consent. Your tacit consent says that you accept that the Set of KV Act 1666 says you're dead, right? And because you're dead, that they can actually keep you in a trust and keep all of your property in a trust. So on the Set of KV Act 1666, right, that's the actual act. But the trust that it's all kept in was created in 1540. Okay, I'm just going to put that by Henry VIII. Right, on 1540, he did the Set the KV Act 1540, which nobody knows about. He actually created the first trust. Now, everyone says it's when he took back like all of the churches, and he actually got divorced because he was like mad at the Catholics and all that, and he was fighting against Rome, and he was fighting against Rome because the Venetians gave him the convocation crown. Okay. Dog Latin. They gave him the convocation crown in 1540, the Venetians. When he got that crown, then he actually became as powerful as the Pope, because the Venetians at the time wanted rid of the Pope. Because they're all fighting each other. This is the 13 families. Okay, the 13 families. And they're still fighting each other now, which is the good thing for us, really, because they hate each other as much as they hate us, all the peasants and the paupers. So this is when they created that first set of KV trust. That is why everything you think you own is not. You don't own anything. It's in the trust. So if you look at your car, you are not the owner. You are the keeper on the DVLA. It's all held in trust because of him. He started it. Okay. Right? He started it in 1540, the Set of KV Trust. Now, when he started the Set of KV Trust, which is in 1540, then they put everything in trust. That's why you've paid your mortgage off, right? Or you think you've got your house on there, okay? You are a tenant. Go onto the land registry and you have a look. On the land registry, doesn't matter if you've got no mortgage on it, it's been inherited by there. You are a tenant on the land. Because Henry VIII, the big fat bastard, right, put it into the Set KV Trust in 1540 because he was given a convocation crown by the Venetian families. And by the way, that convocation crown now, right, is in 1816, right? Guess who it was given to? Okay. The City of London, which was now, it was called then the Convocation Crown Corporation, which nobody could say. So now it's just called the Crown Corporation. City of London, 1816. Who awarded them that? Right? The Venetians, the same families that did it in 1840. Same families, the same Venetian families that awarded it to Henry VIII, awarded it to the City of London. So they made the Crown Corporation. They always wanted it there controlled by the crowns. These are the crowns of Baal, by the way. That's why it's called, it's not nothing to do with Queen Elizabeth, although she's tied into it. Okay. This is not what I was meant to be talking about. The crowns of Baal. Right. Oh, it's done it again. Oh, I turned the paper again, didn't I? Blinking heck, man. Look at that. I'm just saying hi. Hello. Take it out slowly. Isn't that madness? There we are. Okay. All right. So anyway, the once you've declared that we're living in the private, the next thing you need to do a private trust, which even if they're saying that they own it through that convocation crown that I told you about, put it in a private trust. It's going to make it much safer and harder to take from you. Then, right, what we'll have to do is you have to actually do public forms, which is the lasting power of attorney. I'm just put L-put lasting power of attorney. And there's two of them that you have to do. You have to do property and health. Okay? This is how we live in the private. And if you want to do any kind of commercial activity, then you have to do the commercial activity as a PMA, a Private Members Association. Now, how do you work with a Private Members Association? Now, I am going to go over this really in deep detail with my PMA members, okay? But you have to actually be very strict with the PMA and know how to word the PMA correctly, because if you use the same as a private trust, the same as when you do the private trust, if you start using acts and statutes, we're talking about acts and statutes, and the same in there, if you start talking about anything that has to do with acts and statutes, you put yourself in the public, right? And you are in deep doo-doo, okay? So this part here, the lasting power of attorney, this is when we can dip in and out of the private and public. This has to be, if you end up in hospital, you're already in a public. It's the only way that you can protect yourself is with the lasting power of attorney. Okay, but this is how we have to put ourselves in there. Have to put ourselves protected into the private, but sometimes using a public form, the lasting power of attorney. If you end up in hospital, if you get knocked out unconscious and someone's coming to help you, they will obviously get your ID, and then they'll contact whoever your family are, who should be your power of attorney. All right. So then, right, the power of attorney turn up with the documents to make sure that nothing happens to you that you don't want happening to you, which also works for your property. So when you got your property, the councils make more money from stealing your property than they do anything else. And one of the ways they steal your property, right, when they want you to go into an old people's home, when I was a kid, old people's homes did not exist. You looked after your grandparents. That was it. Community looked after community. Now it seems, get rid of granny. You're not killing granny, you're just getting rid of her. Stick her in a home and let her die in there in a couple of weeks. Medazalam. But now what they want to do is they want to get them stuck into a home and they sell the property. If you get it put in a private trust and you use the lasting power of attorney to put your property there, saying direct it, you must obey the trust. This has got the power of a court order to back up your private trust, and no one will be able to steal your property if you end up going into a home. Okay? This is where you have to do it. So on the PMA, right, all we ever do is work on a private member's contract. Private member to member contract. So how do you work that? What does that mean? It means, turn that down a bit so you can see my lovely t-shirt. Yay! All right, it means that we're all working in a private, and you're not working for an income because you haven't got a job. What is a job? A bank robber has a job. I've got a job on, I'm going to rob a bank. So you're getting illicit gains. Okay. So the when you are living in the private and you are actually exchanging your sweat equity for donations in the in the private members association, right, then you haven't got an income. Right, you do not have to worry about taxation or anything like that because they can only tax a person. When you're in the private, you're not a person. When you have a PMA, you're not a company. It's all private under the creator, and that's all we do. We work in that way. So we barter and we exchange, and you're exchanging donations for sweat equity. That is what we're doing. And there's communities setting up all over the world, by the way, that are doing this now. And I'm talking about massive communities that are doing like growing food, having shelter. This is growing and growing and growing. In a lot of ways, trying to kill us the way they've tried to kill us viciously over the last two. I know they've been doing it forever, but over the last 3 years, it's been increased insanity. In a lot of ways, it's done. It's woke up a lot more people than normal. So a lot more people are coming to the realization of saying, hang on a second, I'm pretty sure life's not meant to be this shit. There's got to be more to it than this. So that's why we move into these realms, living in the private, and let them get on with the legal society. I don't want to be part of the legal society. So let them live in the legal and deal with all the legal stuff. All right. Does that not make sense? Does that not seem fair? You leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. Seems normal to me. I can't see any problem in that. Can you? All right. So I tell you what. Oh my! It's after 9 o'clock already. So we'll just see if anyone's got any questions to ask on any of that. And remember, on Sunday at 5 p.m. we're going to be going on our private members association, having some what do you call them again? Webinars, and I think the first bit is going to be about PMAs itself. Okay. All right. So if you've got any questions about what we're talking about, nothing about like skew width or anything, There you go. Sweat equity. It's the only real thing that you can promise. The promissory notes, these false, creations of £10, £20, £30, they're not real. All right. The only thing you can actually say is we're going to exchange. That's why you're going to exchange your sweat equity for their donations. All right. That's what it's all about. Okay. There we go. Case law will apply worldwide. So if it's UK, USA, anything like that, it actually applies worldwide. You can use case law, and because you're a common law country, yeah. So we're always talking. It will be different. So if it was in civil law, which would be Spain, for instance, is under civil law, not common law. Portugal, but these countries, Ireland, United States, the UK, they are under common law jurisdiction. So yes, all of that case law will apply. All right, the lasting power of attorney does not enable you to dip in and out of the public and private. You can dip in and out of the public and private. The lasting power of attorney is public. It is a public form that you have to complete with the Office of the Public Guardian, which is based in Birmingham, but it's part of the government's website. So it is all public. You as a man or a woman will dip in and out of the public and the private as and when it benefits you to be a man or a person. So the lasting power of attorney will be using a person, because if you go into hospital, they'll capitalize your name and you'll be a person. But listen, when you go into hospital, if you have not got that lasting power of attorney with the Office of the Public Guardian, they will do whatever they want with you, and they will not let anyone in to defend you, talk for you, talk to you, and they will probably kill you. All right, which I know I have personal experience of. So, just that's what that is. But when you set up yourself as being private, then you set up your private trust, then it's up to you. Unfortunately, you'll have to learn how to dip in and out of the public and private. The LPOA, lasting power of attorney, is 100% public, and you have to actually learn how to use it. But you see, I've got mine set up, right? I pressed the wrong one. I'll leave that one on for now. I've got my lasting power of attorney set up in case I ever end up in hospital. So they on my lasting power of attorney, they're not allowed to do anything to me, anything at all. They're not even allowed. And this has got the power of a court order. What does this say anyway? If a promissory note is a promissory note a form of fraud? No. Oh, no, it's not. No, don't worry about that. It's not. But you have to learn how to do it properly. That's the thing. And most people don't know how to do it properly. That's what I was wanting to put on, what Nanny had put on there. Look, how long and how much does it cost to set up a private trust? It all depends on who you're talking to and what you want to do. Do not go to solicitors. Solicitors do not do private trusts, even if they say they're private. They do statutory trusts, registered trusts. If you are one of our PMA members, then all of the material, the downloads, everything's there to create your own trust. It's all there. If you want someone else to do it for you, then you can go and find someone else to do it for you. We can actually do them. We've actually got a team that are now creating private trusts for people. But we would need a questionnaire to be able to actually answer the question in full. Okay, but you could be looking at anywhere from 1,000 to like literally 7, 8, 9, 10,000, depends on what type of solicitor it was. But so it is what it is. But like I say, if you were a PMA member, you can actually create them yourself. Not everyone that's a PMA member, by the way, does create them themselves. A lot of them go, oh no, I don't like that. I want someone to do it. So they'll still actually ask for help, which is not a problem. But ours generally could run from 1,000 going on, but it's a donation to the PMA, and then the members, the team, right, will create the private trust on your specific requirements. Okay. Okay. All right. All right, there's just something flew up there. Is it possible to ignore the police presence and only talk to the bailiffs? That way the police might start to feel superfluous and start not showing up at your door with the utility companies. Right. Well, the thing is, like, you know, you shouldn't be actually talking to the police anyway, because unless you've committed a crime, then the police have got no jurisdiction. So if the police turn up to any civil, any bailiff offence, any debt like that, they've got no jurisdiction whatsoever. And you just have to learn how to deal with them, making sure that they know they've got no jurisdiction, because they've got zero jurisdiction. And only you can give them permission to get involved. You just need to study on how to actually do it. Okay. All right then. So I'm going to have to shoot off now. On Sunday, 5 p.m. we're going to do the private members webinar. And it's going to be, the first one is going to be on PMAs, and I might do it every week, but it's probably going to be every 2 weeks, because we've got loads on, we've got talks coming up and they're running around and everything like that. So I'm going to deep dive on, not go back to the debts as well. Then we're going into the trusts, and we're going into the commercial liens, and I mean really going in. And we're also going to go over the paperwork on the land registry as well. Okay. So got a lot to do, a lot coming up for that. But I mean, I'm still going to share a lot of information, you know, on here as well. Okay. Oh, I need to hide that comment. All right. So anyway, and thank you to you as well. So we're going to have to shoot off. Okay. So where did that go? Where did that go? So remember, when we're talking about common law, they talk about the countries as being a common law country. So all of the Commonwealth are common law countries. So everything that I was talking about today will apply to all Commonwealth countries and the United States. All right. Civil law is different in different European countries. A lot of European countries are civil law, but we are all common law, right? But don't get confused by the common law, right? Okay. It's not this like do no harm. That does not mean common law. Okay. And all this common law court stuff and everything like that. You've got to understand what we're talking about when you talk about common law. Okay. All right. Brilliant. Yeah, Mike, love to see you in Plymouth as well. Looking forward to going down there. So remember, everyone, right, we've got 2 events coming up. We've got Kings Langley, which is on the 3rd of September. I've got a link in the description for the tickets for Kings Langley, which is near Hemel Hempstead, a few miles away from the M25. And then we're in Plymouth. I'm going down to my old Royal Navy stamping ground, and that's on the 17th of September. So again, link in the description for tickets if you want to go to either of them. All right. But for now, I am going to shoot. I thank you all for being here. And, you know, it's been great to talk to you. Hope you all enjoyed it. A lot of good information. And we will see you all soon. And everyone just take care. All right. Good to see everyone there, and see you all soon later. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Good on you. Yeah. Shine on as well there, Ben.